For 15,000 years across the endless frozen grasslands of the Great Plains, the indigenous peoples of North America survived nights that would kill a modern human in minutes. They built shelters out of the very element that tried to destroy them. They made fire where no trees grew, and they turned food that outsiders thought was barely edible into fuel strong enough to keep a human heart beating through the coldest darkness. And the most unbelievable part? A thin wall of frozen water could protect them better than a
What is this place?
Incredible.
fortress of stone. Quick thing before we dive in. If these stories help you relax or drift off, a like or subscribe means a lot. And let me know your city and the time right now. It's always crazy seeing someone listening from Tokyo at noon while someone in Texas is listening at midnight. All right, get comfortable, fix your pillows, pull up that blanket, because where we're going, you're going to want every bit of warmth you can get. Imagine this. You wake up, but you're not in your bed. You're not even in a building. The first thing you feel is cold. Not grab a sweater cold, not, oh, it's winter cold. This cold feels personal, like it chose you. Your name is Wild Eagle in Lakota. You are 18 winters old. That's how age is counted here. Not by years, but by how many winters you've survived. Because out on the plains, making it through winter is what proves you're alive. You're lying on a bison robe inside your family's teepee. The hide presses warm against your back. Above you, wood poles lean inward to the smoke hole at the top. Your breath floats in thin white clouds. Your uncle, Matao, Bear, is already awake. He's been awake. You can tell because he stoked the fire so quietly that the glowing coals look like they lit themselves. Today is the day of your first real hunt. Not watching, not carrying supplies, hunting. The women have spent weeks preparing pemmican, dried bison meat, fat, berries, a whole meal compressed into something you can hold in your fist. They stuffed your moccasins with fresh grass for insulation. Because here, there is no steady firewood. Grass, sky, grass, sky. That's all there is until horizon and earth become the same thing. The sky speaks today, Matao says, watching the smoke twist strangely on its way out of the teepee. What does it say? You ask.
He waits, the way he always does. Matao once told you that a man who talks too fast is like a hunter who rushes his prey. Both go home hungry. It says we should stay, he finally answers. But the village needs meat. Your stomach tightens. You've seen the food stores shrinking. Mothers feeding children first, then women, then men. You've seen your mother quietly give you her portion. Then we go, you say. Matao looks at you, really looks. A slow nod. We go. At the edge of camp, 8 hunters gather. Sunkawakan, horse, keeps glancing at you like you're a mistake. He's 25 winters, old enough to think he knows everything. You say nothing. You carry your bow. You force yourself to look like you belong. Hours pass. Wind from the west. Snow like tiny needles on your cheek. The world stretches forever, white and brown, nothing to break the emptiness. Clouds thicken, darken. The wind shifts. Your ears pop like the air itself is getting heavier. You think about warning Matao, but you're just 18, and Sunkawakan already thinks you're a child. So you stay silent. Then, finally, you find the bison. A small herd in a shallow valley. Your heart races. The hunt, the thing you've dreamt of since you could walk. Matao signals. Spread out, stay low, move slow. And then the world disappears. The sky explodes, white slams into your face, the wind screams and you stumble. You can't see Matao, can't see the herd, can't see your own hands. A whiteout, and you are alone. Panic hits instantly. Breath too fast, sweat starting. Sweat is death. You
hear your grandmother's voice in your head. Slow breathing. 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out. Calm kills storms. Panic kills you. Shelter first. Always shelter first. You drop to your knees and dig, hands numb inside your mittens. Snow piles up in front of you, blocking the wind. Snow is not just cold, it's full of tiny air pockets. Air insulates. Inside snow, the temperature stays around freezing. 0 degrees can save your life when outside is 40 below and the wind is a blade. You dig and dig until you have a hole barely big enough for your body. You crawl in. The change is instant. Sound muffles. Wind becomes a distant animal instead of claws in your face. You wrap your bison robe tight. You tuck every gap closed. Your mother's hands checking seams this morning. Now you understand that was love that keeps you alive. You chew pemmican slowly, letting it thaw in your mouth, fuel for the furnace of your body. But then, you feel it, cold crawling up from beneath you, a creeping pool. You built it wrong. Cold air sinks, warm air rises. You remember Matau explaining it beside a calm fire years ago. If you understand this, you survive anything. You start digging again. You make the entrance lower. You make the sleeping area higher. A cold trap. A bowl turned upside down. Cold air sinks into the lower space. Warm air gathers above. Your body heat starts winning. Hours pass. Wind screams. Snow presses on your walls. But you are warm enough? Afraid, yes, but alive. When silence finally comes, it feels unreal. You push at the entrance until daylight cracks through. You crawl out into a world smoothed into white hills, everything you knew buried. Then, a shape in the snow, big shoulders, slow steps. Matau. He places a hand on your shoulder. You remembered, he says. And now you understand. This day was not about the bison. It was about you. Your people have survived here for thousands of years because they learned one simple truth. Cold doesn't kill. Ignorance does. And today, you earned your 18th winter.
Matau doesn't smile often, but when he does, it's real. Something earned. He checks your cheeks, your fingers, the tip of your nose for frostbite. You survived the night, but the test isn't over. The storm has swallowed every track. The hunters are scattered somewhere out there in the white, and the village still needs meat. Matau lifts his chin toward the horizon. 4 hunters are still missing, he says. The storm buried their footprints, but the land never forgets. He kneels and brushes away the fresh snow. Beneath it, a faint pressed mark, half a bison track, as though the storm tried to erase it but couldn't. Your heartbeat slows into focus. The hunt isn't canceled, it's just harder now. You follow him, legs sinking into powder with each step, the sound muffled under the endless quiet. The sun hangs low and pale, watching, not warming. A lost man always walks toward a dream, Matau says. What dream? You ask quietly. He taps his chest. Home, always home. So you search for the missing hunters, not with eyes alone, but with understanding. Fear points the way. No one wants to die alone on the plains. Everyone tries to return to fire. Then, movement. A shape far off where the land dips. You crouch. At first it looks like a boulder, but then it shifts. Breath rises from its nostrils. Bison. Not a whole herd. 2, maybe 3. Torn from the others just like you were. Your fingers tighten around your bow. Matau's hand grips your arm, steady and warm. You are ready, he says. But remember, when a bison dies, a story begins. Make your story one worth telling. You nod, heart hammering like a drum in your ribs. The two of you slide silently down the drift, every step measured, every breath controlled. The wind has died, but the cold remains, clinging to your bones. Matau points. You see it now. One of the bison is old, ribs showing beneath its thick coat. Nature has already chosen which one should fall. The others graze, unaware. Matau leans close, voice barely a ghost. The arrow does not kill, respect does. You draw, not too fast, not too slow, just like Matau taught you when you were a child, shooting at painted circles on a stretched hide. The bowstring touches your cheek. You exhale and release. The arrow flies straight as truth, a sharp, deep thump. The bison shudders, legs folding. The others bolt, pounding thunder into the snow. You stand there, breath shaking, vision tunneling. The world feels both huge and small at once. Matau places his hand over your heart. The village will eat, he says, because you stood when winter tried to take you. You help him begin the work, quick, respectful, efficient. Warm steam rises from the body into the freezing air like a final prayer. The old bison gave its life so others may live. This is how survival has always worked out here. This is the balance. By dusk, smoke from the camp's fires curls into the sky, home calling you back. When you walk into the village, children stare wide-eyed, mothers gasp in relief, and Sunkawakan, who thought you were just a boy, looks away first. Tonight, you don't need anyone to say it, but they do. Wichale is a hunter now. And when you finally lie down beneath the teepee poles, wrapped in the same robe that kept you alive through the storm, you don't count your age by numbers anymore. You count it by winters you've defeated. And this one, this winter, will never forget your name.
Sleep doesn't come easily. Your body aches from cold and effort, but your mind refuses to let the day go. Every moment replays itself. The blinding storm, the silence inside the snow cave, the bison's final breath. There is pride in what you did, but there is also a weight that presses against your chest. Taking life so others can live is an honor, yet it is never simple. You lie on your bison robe, staring at the dim orange glow of the coals. You think Matau is asleep, his breathing steady, eyes closed, but his voice breaks the quiet. You listen today, to the wind, to the snow, to the bison. You turn to him. Listen to what? He opens his eyes just a sliver. They're warnings. Before you can ask what he means, the teepee flap lifts and Sunkawakan steps inside. The arrogance he wore earlier is gone. His voice is low when he speaks. We've found 2 of the hunters, alive, but one is still missing, and one did not survive the storm. Death is never unexpected out here, yet it always feels too soon. Matau sits up, his expression turning hard like frozen earth. At first light, he says, we go and bring them both home. Sunkawakan nods, and when he looks at you, there is no mockery, only respect, or something close to it. Night deepens, and the camp becomes still, but your heart still listens to every sound. Wind sliding against the hide walls, the soft breathing of your family, the steady pulse of the earth beneath you. At last, your eyes grow heavy, and sleep pulls you under. In your dream, you're back in the storm's aftermath, except the plains are calm and silver under the moon. Snow stretches to the horizon, untouched and perfect. Then the old bison you hunted steps forward, steam rising from its nostrils like spirit fire. You feel no fear. Its eyes meet yours, deep and ancient. A voice fills the air, not coming from its mouth, but from the world itself. You carry us now, our future,
our past. Walk with care. You reach out a hand, but the bison dissolves into swirling whiteness, and the dream collapses around you. You jolt awake, breath sharp in your lungs. The fire has burned low, faint embers blinking like tired stars. Mata was already up, tightening his moccasins. He doesn't need to ask if you dreamed. Then you understand, he says quietly. You don't, not fully, but something inside you has changed. Today you are not hunting bison, you are hunting fate. He hands you your bow, freshly restrung, and steps out into the freezing dawn. You follow him, the air biting your skin, but your spirit burning hotter than fire. The plains wait outside, endless, cold, indifferent, but you step into that vastness without hesitation. Because surviving winter is not only about keeping yourself alive, it is about making sure no one is left behind.